Gatlin Downey in the 37, bringing us to the green.
Can Mr. Cars get a run?
And a win, and Ben Crouch is going to take the win here at Pocono.
Side by side, it's going to be a walk away.
Huge push on the outside, 19.
Heading down to the stripe, it's going to be Mike Fink Jr., number 38, winning.
Moves him up. Here comes Jesse Orski to the inside.
What's up everyone, it's your boy NSRacing95 AKA Nathan Stapleton, and welcome everyone to Phoenix Raceway for race number 3 of 28 and for the Castrol GTX 500. We are here for the first short track race on the season, and it's going to be interesting to see how this race will play out. Phoenix is always a wild card here in the Rebel Cup Series. It can either be very chaotic or it can be very boring. But last week at Heartland, we saw the number 9 of Brett Sealer get the big dub and locked himself into the chase. So far, two rookies, I should say, have won the first 2 races. No veterans have won yet in season number 3. It's going to be an interesting race. As you can see, the driver that won the part-time race still on the pole, and the guy right behind him is the guy that was battling with him to win that qualifying race. So, it's going to be an interesting race. I'm not alone for this one. I'm joined by Trey White up here in the booth for the first time this season.
Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, evening, or whenever you're watching this, ladies and gentlemen. Nathan, thank you for having me here for this race. So, as you mentioned, the 81 of, let me look at the list here, Sayer Diaz, and the 66 of Ben Dover, great name by the way. Those two were battling, fairly hard during the qualifying race, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see what they can do here in the actual race. On the outside pole is the number 5 of Johnny Gardner. He's a veteran, so I feel like that he's going to have a very solid day today. But like you said, it can either be 2 extremes. It can be either an absolute just snooze fest, or it can be a roller coaster of wrecks, chaos, and just everything in between.
And we saw the first ever race here at Phoenix all the way back in season number 1. They went 4 wide and turns 24 on lap number 1. So, literally anything can happen here at Phoenix, and we are in for one heck of a show here for race number 3 on this season. Coming into this race, here is how the top 10 in points shake out. Jake Galloway, after having 2 second place finishes to kick off the season, he has a 86 point. And then Mitchell Collins, the Daytona 500 winner, he is in second with 80 points. Rob Evans is in third, 77 points back. The first veteran is Zachary Giordano in fourth, 74 points. Brett Sealer is in fifth, 73 points, tied with Noah Clifton. Diego Yepez is in seventh, 69 points. DJ Reed is in eighth. Tied for eighth is Reed and Moore with 67, and then Tristan Allen is 10th in points, 64 points in total, and he actually made it into the show. I believe he's the only part-timer that's made all 3 races so far this season, so he's trying to get another great one here today. With that being said, let's go ahead and get these engines fired for race 3 on the season and for the Castrol GTX 500 for the Red Bull Cup Series.
Drivers, start your engines!
And the engines will get more to life here at Phoenix, and hopefully all 42 cars get on, and looks like they will. The qualifying order will scroll from the bottom to the top of the screen on the left side, it will be Sergio Diaz and Johnny Garner starting up front, and then Ben Dover and Francois Chastain. Row 2, row 3 is Rodgeway and the 95 of Nathan Stapleton, as we know, Christian Fergus, and Brett Sealer, Ben Watson, Carl Frieden, and Noah Clifton. So Trey, this place is wild. It can be topsy-turvy. What do you think we will see here today?
I feel like we're going to see a wild race here, Nathan. My pick to win the race today is the guy starting in the 5th position, the 19 of Roger Ray.
Not a bad pick. The one guy that's been really strong at Phoenix is Patrick Smith. Emil Green here at Phoenix for the Castrol GTX 500.
Going 3 wide, almost getting hooked as the 81. He's gonna get hooked! We already have a somewhat decent wreck. Oh, and it's a huge wreck on the back straightaway. And this has already gotten cancerous. Oh my goodness, huge wreck. Oh, that did not take long. Our pole sitter's been taken out already. Oh, that was interesting.
Oh man, a lot like of how the qualifying race was. Oh man, not what we want to see here at Phoenix. Just like the qualifying race, lap 1, turn 1, and all heck has broke loose already here at Phoenix. Sergio Diaz is gonna be done. Dale Campbell's destroyed. Eli Bright's destroyed. Travis Crampton, Andrew Miller. Johnny Garner, Sergio Diaz, Zachary Toretto, Dan Voiles, Quentin Moore, Tristan Allen, multiple drivers. And Patrick Smith, this is his best racetrack, and he's going to be done for the day, most likely, here at Phoenix, the Season 1 champ. A lot of good race cars torn up in this one, already on lap number 1.
Just like you said, we saw this in the qualifying race, going 3 wide into the first turn. We've got 70 laps here, so it's not Mario Kart, guys. You shouldn't be going 3 wide, bombing it to the inside and on the first turn of the race. But man, oh man, that was just absolute craziness. 3 of the 4 part-time cars that raced their way into this were involved, and the 4th one is on point here at the Phoenix International Raceway. But I said it was going to be crazy, and it has been crazy already, and we haven't even gotten a single green flag lap in yet.
And hopefully this is not of what we'll see all race long, but now if these guys gonna restart single file, hopefully, fingers crossed, it works out better. But a tough way for all of the drivers involved, especially for the front row of Garner and Diaz. Unfortunate, but that's just the way that the cookie crumbles, and it will end their days here at Phoenix. Ben Dover will lead us back to the green, but before we get to that, let's see if what happened to bring out the first caution of the day in the Castrol GTX 500. Here we go, this is what happened. Ben Dover just made it 3 wide on lap number 1, turn number 1. I'm underneath the guy that he was bound for the part-time race win. Sergio Diaz was moved up the racetrack into Johnny Garner, and they just did not give each other any room whatsoever. And Johnny Garner had nothing to do but hook the corner panel, and up the track they went. A big shot for Sergio Diaz, back tires off the ground. And honestly, we were going to be mostly okay up to this point, but once Travis Crampton went up to the top side, there's nowhere to go for Crampton, Patrick Smith, Dale Campbell, John Andrews, Quentin Moore, Andrew Miller, William Blott, Zachary Toretto, Tristan Allen, DJ Lee, Christian, not Christian Russell, but Mitchell Collins. Just chaos. Bobby Frazier as well, and also Eli Bright with some damage. Just unfortunate. And honestly, if they didn't, if Travis Crampton did not go up the racetrack and went straight into the 81, it would have only been a 2 or 3 car crash. But because he went straight up the track and didn't really have anywhere to go, that caused a big one, and at least 14 or 15 cars get torn up on lap number 1.
Looking at this in full speed, and I think Sawyer Diaz, I think he just walked up the racetrack just a little bit too much. So I don't think the entire blame should be put on Dilder, but man, it's the wrong place at the wrong time for a lot of these guys that started in the back. And it's unfortunate for all of these guys because they were just collaterally collected by just other guys' mistakes on the first lap, on the first turn. Being way too aggressive for some of these guys, and unfortunately, and the 31, didn't even see that. 31 of Andrew Miller just clobbered the 48 of Eli Bright on the back straightaway, so that was an incident that we didn't see there, but man, just a lot of torn up race cars, and unfortunately, that's going to knock out quite a few guys out of this race.
Very unfortunate. Lap 1, turn number 1, but we saw that in the part-time race an hour ago. And apparently these guys did not learn much. In fact, Ben Dover did not learn from that part-time race. But it is what it is, and that takes out a lot of drivers. But because of that, Ben Dover will lead us back to the green here for the restart in the Castrol GTX 500. And let's go ahead and get back rolling here at Phoenix. Welcome back here at Phoenix for race number 3 of the Rebel Cup Series season number 3. And Ben Dover will lead us back to the green. All of the cars that are out are Eli Bright, Andrew Miller, Sawyer Diaz, Travis Brampton, Dale Camel, and Daniel Foyles are all out. And then Johnny Garner is 1 lap down. 35 cars are on the lead lap. And it will be Dover, Francois Chastain, Way, Sierra, and the 95 of Christian Vargas. The top 5, that green on lap number 6 at Phoenix.
Yeah, as Dover, he gets a great run. As Garner, he's already like a lot of damage, so he's going to be falling back. As we see the 20 nearly getting into the quarter panel, the 95. But I think now that these guys are starting single file, I think we should get a decent green flag run here. As a 21 of Francois Chastain, a rookie, he's trying to track down the 66 of Ben Dover. A couple of interesting names here at the top of the field.
Yeah, very interesting indeed. A part-timer of Ben Dover, and then a rookie of Francois Chastain. And then you have the defending, and the caution's out. Oh no. And it's Johnny Garner.
Gardner, that's Gardner, he's around, and more people are dead. Gosh darn it, guys.
Well,
he's been upside down. I think Gardner went upside down. He has a ton of roof damage, but
Noah, oh my god. The 6, Noah Clifton, Madsen Tall, the 51, the 65, the 41, the 4, the 41 again, the 18, the 34 again. Oh my gosh.
I think we had a huge stack up. I think they might have gotten on 4 wide. Both front row motorsports cars are junk. And Gardner, I believe he was the primary cause of that. So, all right, new prediction. As long as nobody is a lap down and on the inside lane, we should have a green flag run. If someone is on the inside, then we're just gonna have a caution again. So, oh my goodness, I haven't seen a race this crazy in a while.
Got to love Phoenix in the Rebel Cup Series. It can be either a wreckfest or a calm, boring race, and this is all but calm here on lap number 8. Second caution of the day, and looks like it's the second big one of the day as well. With that being said, let's go and see if what happened to bring out the second caution of the day in the Castrol GTX 500. Here we go. This is what happened. Because of Johnny Garner blocking the outside lane, Winslow and Clifton got into each other, and then going into turn 3 and 4, got into Josh Williamson and Evan Hunter, and they were still stuck to each other, and then up the track they went. John Andrews got clipped, and then look at Johnny Garner somehow just launches up into the catch fence on top of the 24, and then still in the catch fence, and then for everyone else beyond them, there's nowhere to go. Madsen Tall gets clipped. Nowhere to go for the 41, the 6, the 13. The 41 got on 2 wheels. And then the 12 actually got airborne the back end off the ground for the 12 of Boston Minute. And just these guys, that time I blame that a lot on Johnny Garner, but oh my gosh. The only good thing about this now is that I think we should, keyword should, be able to have a long range flag one after this, but not the way that about half the field wanted the days to end. Less than 10 laps here in this race with damaged race cars.
They see Shane Wensloff just hook the 0-0. Unfortunately, Gardner, wow, into the catch fence and just collecting a bunch of guys. I think most of these guys, you saw the 34 just ARCA brake. Yeah, just a bunch of these guys just ARCA braked into this accident. So you can't put the majority of the blame on Johnny Gardner. There's just unfortunately no escape route for a lot of these guys. But man, just we're not even at the 10 lap mark, and I don't even think we've gotten a single green flag lap into this race, and half the field is already junk.
It was an unfortunate break for all of these guys. Not the way that we wanted this race to start, but we still have almost 60 laps to go, and it's going to be very, very interesting of how the rest of the race will play out. But it will be bent over that will lead us back to the green, and let's go ahead and get back racing here at Phoenix. Welcome back here at Phoenix, and we are going to go back green with exactly 60 laps to go. The cars that are out from that crash are the 5, the 34, the 4, the 38, the 41, the 65, and the 00. 29 cars are left on the track, and we have no cars a lap down now. So that's a good thing. Bent over will lead us back to the green, and the 66, and what a jump.
Oh wow, what a huge run that Bendover got over Francois Chastain. So I think we should, third time's a try, we should see a long green flag run. As they're spread out, there's no lap cars in the way for that to screw up. Let's just have a nice, calm and collective green flag run.
And we will not get that.
Are you kidding me?
The 13th Osman Hamid got turned. And
Okay, at least there wasn't a billion cars involved in it, but well, oh my goodness.
This race has turned into a clap fest and a half. But oh, it might get good here because I think a lot of people might pit.
Yeah, so we do have a couple sets of pit stops in this race, if I'm not mistaken. So strategy, that's going to make this race even saucier than it has been. As we see the 9 of Brett Sierra, he's leading them down. He's leading Roger Ray, 20 car, the 3, the 24, and a bunch of other guys. The majority of the field is coming down.
The top
so they're
two
gonna
stay out.
Yeah. Oh. Part-time guy and I'm not sure. Yes, Francois Chastain. Both of them are rookies to the series, along with the 6 of Alexander Rowe, the 37 and the 40. So a couple of rookies staying out, trying to play the strategy game, along with some guys that have damage. So that could play into how this race is going to shape out. As we see the 19 come off pit road.
Oh boy, we're going to have a lot of lap cars. Well, not lap cars, but damaged race cars up front. This is going to possibly get even more crazier. But like you said, pit stops and strategy, I believe it will be 1 or 2 stops in this race. So, for most of these guys going ahead and do the first stop under caution, I believe is about 40 laps on fuel, give or take. So, it could be about 55 laps when they wrap the pit, so it could get interesting if we can survive and go caution free. But it will be bent over once again, leading us back to the green. But let's go ahead and see what happens to bring out the third caution of the day here at Phoenix. We are only going to watch this one time and one time only. Tempest got a little bit hot between the 13 and the 42. The 13 tried doing his slide drop and Toll did not like it at all and just simply dumped him down the backstretch. Honestly, that could have been without a caution since there was no one coming up behind the 13, but unfortunately it was a caution, and that brought out the third caution of the day. But yeah, Madison did not like that whatsoever. Neither would I if I got slide dropped and almost wet. But that was the third caution of the day. The calmest crash that we've had yet. And that wasn't even a crash, that's just a simple one called spin. If we can have that just happen a couple more times, that would be fine, but without luck it probably won't. Bent over Williams back to the green, and let's go ahead and get to the restart here at Phoenix. Welcome back here at Phoenix. We will go back green on lap number 16, and the top 5 on the restart will be Bent over, Francois Chastain, Alexander Rowe, Shane Winslow, and Tristan Allen. The top 5. No one is out. Well, actually, I'm wrong. DJ Reed, we forgot to look at it, but DJ Reed, he blew up under the caution, so unfortunately, he's going to be done for the day here at Phoenix. Bent over will lead us back to the green on lap number 16.
Yeah, we've only gone 16 laps in this race. I don't think we have had a single green flag lap, and Francois Chastain's going to get to the inside, going to make some contact with the 66. Door to door as they go down the back straightaway.
And for the first time all race long, Francois Chastain takes the race lead, and we have a new race leader.
We might make a green flag lap. Do we? Yes, we finally have a green flag lap. It took us 17 attempts, but we finally got a green flag lap here at Phoenix. Yes, alright.
This is the best thing that's happened since sliced bread finally a green flag lap, and hopefully we can stay green for a good chunk of the race. Here comes Alexander Rowe trying to get underneath Bent over in the 6.
And a couple of rookies up in the front. We've got Chastain, Dover, Alexander Rowe, and then you got the 37 of Shane Wensleff. And Shane Wensleff, he's got the entire back end damage, and these guys have pulled away from the other guys quite a bit. So those guys who pitted under that last caution, they're stuck. As you see, the 47 to 3, they've finally gotten past those damaged race cars, where they got a lot of ground to make up if they want to catch up to these guys.
Yeah, that's for sure. JTG Dorley, they've been known to be one of the more consistent teams in the Red Bull Cup Series so far, just in general. And for Stephen Collin, he's having finally a good one after a terrible first 2 races, flipping wildly in the 500 and then getting caught up in the big one at Atlanta. So finally, a great one for Stephen Collin.
Indeed it is, and you see Chastain continues to lead over Ben Dover, and they're starting to spread out a bit, so I think this is finally the time where fingers crossed, toes crossed, anything you're able to cross, that this is finally the time where we're going to get a solid green flag run.
Hopefully that's the case, and for Stephen Collin, Elijah Gordon, Jake Galloway, and this whole pack, they're starting to catch up with these leaders, and that they've caught up with Shane Winslow, who he's not really that slow for having no back end, but he's not as fast as his teammate. So hopefully he lets his teammate by, but it does not look like he will.
Yeah, these guys up pitted, they are going to have an advantage. They have a couple lap fresher tires, even though they haven't really gone many green flag laps, and nearly got the JTD Doherty guys nearly hooked going into the turns 1 and 2. So that would have been another bad incident. But yeah, I'd expect these guys to be contending for the lead as soon as they're able to, because they've got a lot fresher tires than these guys have.
Yeah, because even though we've gone mostly filled with cautions, for these top 5, or now top 3, they are still on the same set of tires they started on this race. But then I believe from Stephen Collin and Bat, they have fresher tires and they are a couple tenths faster. But right now, we are flying. We restarted on lap number 16, and we are all the way on lap number 24. And Francois Chastain still out front in the 24, and the 21 for Wood Brothers Racing.
Indeed, the laps are just flying by. Those guys are making up for lost time for that wreck. Just excuse the part in the beginning where the drivers were kind of just driving around like chickens with their heads cut off. But other than that, now it's just smooth sailing, and what's going to play a factor is one of these guys are going to pit and the different strategies that people are going to do later in the race. But right now, it's just smooth single file racing all throughout.
Yeah, because for these top three, so they are still on the same tires and same amount of fuel that they started with. So they're going to probably pit about 15 laps before the rest of the field does. So that could be very interesting later on in this race. But right now, Stephen Collin in the 47 is closing in on the number 6 of Alexander Rowe. And right now, the top 6 are all rookies to the Red Bull Cup Series. The first veteran is Carter Friesen in 7th position.
Yeah, like you said, in the first 2 races, the rookies have been dominating. They've been teaching the veterans new tricks. Chastain, we saw in the Autism Speaks 500, he was running up front for a lot of that. Bend over, he's pretty new to the scene, but he's looking to take over the sport by storm. And then Alexander Rowe in the Chick-fil-A Cup Series in the NOFSRL, he's been lighting up the track. So got a couple of NR 2003 veterans here, so it's definitely going. But they are rookies for Chick-fil-A Cup Series. But rookie doesn't matter as long as he's got the talent to show for it.
Oh, Stephen Collin just sent it into 3 and 4, and he's going to try to take third on the way from Alexander Rowe.
Yeah, this has definitely been a physical race so far. I guess seeing a lot of bumping and banging, seeing a lot of obviously wrecks, and it looks like no, he's not going to get hooked off the 6 car. Because on this version of Phoenix, you get cars that are often hooked onto the outside wall coming off of the turns 1 and 2. So hopefully that won't happen again in this race, but who knows? We've seen some crazy stuff in the beginning so far, so who knows what's going to happen here.
Yeah, this race has been very wild up to this point. Meanwhile, battling for 5th position, 2 Choke Gibbs Racing teammates, Jake Galloway, who's finished 2nd both races so far this season. He's trying to hang on to 5th, but he's not going to be able to. Carter Friesen in the number 20 up to 5th position. And we're about to catch up with a lap call of Madison Tall, who has no right front fender in the number 42. She's going to let the leaders go on by very easily.
And they're in the straightaway right now, so actually she's going to hang on the outside. We've got some more lap traffic. We've got the 12 of Bronson Minnick, a couple other guys. We have the 8 of Zachary DeLello, the 88 of William Brock. So a couple of lap down cars that are going to play some factors into this race.
And that's the big thing as well. The longer this race goes green, the more lap traffic that we are going to have to deal with, and the more of a possibility of them making a mistake and getting too aggressive around those lap traffic. But right now, just so far so good. Having a nice long green flag run finally here at Phoenix. And Francois Chastain just dominating here at Phoenix. But I don't know, Stephen Collin, he's flying in that number 47 right now.
Yeah, Collins, the new tires on the 47 JTD Darty Chevrolet Camaro. He has definitely driven all the way to the front. He's passed a couple of guys that did not take tires on that stop, as well as the damaged cars, and he's slowly reeling in the 66 of Bend Over. And I think as this race comes to a close, I think the 47 is going to be a huge contender on when it comes down to who wins this race.
And right now, Stephen Collins, he wants redemption from the first 2 races, and getting a good one or even winning this race would be a great way to get on the right track. And same with Friesen. I haven't really seen him up front yet that much this season, but he's running pretty strong. And same with a lot of guys. And how about the 2 winners so far this season, battling for 8th and 9th on the racetrack? The 500 winner, the 2 of Mitchell Collins, and the 9 of Brett Seal, both inside the top 10.
Indeed, great to see these guys battling it out. It might not be for the top position, but there is for a pretty good position as the leaders continue to sweep and swift their way through lap traffic. As the 47, he's caught up to Ben Dover. Now can he get around him? They're actually both catching up to the 21 of Chastain. But I think the 47 of Stephen Colin, I think he's going to try and get up there.
It's one thing to catch up to someone, but it's another thing to get around them, especially here at this version of Phoenix, where it's multiple groups, 2 and 3 different lanes, and sometimes even 4 lanes. But right now, Francois Chastain just looking awfully strong, and here comes Stephen Cohn to the inside of Ben Dover. Never mind. Got a massive one.
Position here.
And we're about to catch up with the 88 of William Block, who he's already, he's on the tail end of the lead lap, so he's the first car that would go 1 lap down that is coming up to these race leaders, and we are going to catch up to him very, very soon. And I totally forgot to mention this, we are somehow past halfway here at Phoenix, coming to 31 laps to go this time by.
And don't forget the top 3 or 4 or so guys still have to make a pit stop. So that's going to play into if they take 2 tires or 4. I assume they both take 4 tires since they've had 40 laps on those tires. And you see Colin, he's going to get to the door of that 66, and I think he's going to get him coming in by the end of this lap.
And looks like he will, as he's going to maybe use the pick on the 66 to get around him by the AA, and he will. Stephen Collins up to 2nd.
Now this is where the Jaws theme starts playing for Francois Chastain. He has older tires than the 47s, and the way the 47 has been cutting through the field, I don't think he's used up all of his stuff yet, so Chastain is going to have to fight off that 47 if he wants a chance to win this race, but there still are pit stops left in this race, so who knows what we're going to see.
And one guy that's came out of nowhere, and he has shot up like a can, Carl Friesen in the number 20. He's rocketing through this field. Like 15 laps ago, he was in 7th or 8th. Now he's up to 4th place in that number 20 for JGL. And same with the number 11. And all these guys, they are flying on new tires. And it's just a matter of time for Francois Chastain, Ben Dover, Shane Winslow, and Alexander Road to decide to just say screw it and pit. And right when I say that, here they come down onto pit road.
Chastain, I believe, yes, he will relinquish the lead over to the 47. Friesen will follow. Jake Galloway, our points leader, will be in the 3rd position. And the tires, they've just gotten way too warm for those guys to continue. So they need to hope to have a good pit stop, or possibly even a caution to save them from possibly going a lap down. But it's a tough break for those guys. They might cycle around when these guys come down. We'll just have to wait and see as Alexander Rowe is going to go wide a little bit.
Yeah. And I'm kind of surprised that Alexander Rowe has not came down onto pit road yet. Because he did stay out, but who knows? He might be trying to play some kind of strategy here. But for these guys that just pitted, they should be good to make it all the way, since they pitted with like 28 laps to go or something like that. so they're good to go. But for everyone else that pitted under the caution, they still have to make one more pit stop, and that's probably going to happen in about 10 to 11 laps or so. So it's not over whatsoever.
Indeed, it is not. So, don't have a clear winner, but we do have some people dealing with lap traffic as Bend Over. He got out behind Francois Chastain. They're easily getting through lap traffic. Stephen Cullen continues to lead over the Canadian of Carter Friesen.
And right now, it is a really great top 10. And right now, Joe Gibbs Racing, 3 out of the 4 cars are inside the top 5. And oh boy, this is gonna get. And there they go!
Oh no!
But they're gonna save it, I think.
They all save it, but that's a huge moment for Jake Galloway, our points leader. He's got a ton of right side damage, nearly got hooked by the 18, but man, they all saved it. And that is exactly what a couple of these guys wanted to see, for them not to have a caution. But man, I think the 22 has a tire down. But man, amazing job by those guys to save those cars. But oh man, Bradley Ream, rookie to the series, is not what he wanted to see, and he might go a lap down.
And for Angel O'Vale and Jake Galloway, they got the worst of it. Elijah Gordon is not as bad. Still has a little bit of damage, but not as bad. Tough break for Jake Galloway, the point leader, and a tough break for Angel O'Vale. Always got involved in a couple crashes and always had damage, and now he has even more damage. But how about this 20 of Carter Friesen? He is closing down and catching up to this 47 of Stephen Collins really fast.
He is. I think he's about to use up all his stuff. Was out there for a second, but it's not. But Carter Friesen, he was playing it a little bit smart, and now it's going to be a game of cat and mouse between Friesen and Colin on who can win this race, possibly.
With 20 laps to go, when will the rest of these guys pit? I would assume it would be at like 5 or 7 laps from now, but I'm not entirely sure.
I would assume the same. I'd assume at the very most, they'd probably pit from 10 laps from now. So it will depend on if their pit crew makes any mistakes or if they have any internal issues. As you can see, Colin continues to slice and dice passes the lap car of Zachary DeLello. DeLello goes wide and lets Friesen try and pass, but Friesen's going to have a little bit of trouble passing the 8 car, so that's going to allow Colin to slip away just by a couple tenths of a second.
And these two are definitely the fastest cars on the racetrack right now, not counting the 21 or the 66 with new tires. They have a second-and-a-half gap over Wadgway in the number 19. And oh, is he pitting? No, I thought he was. And the caution's out.
Oh no. Well, this makes things a lot more easier for these guys. I think we had another incident on the back straightaway.
And you know what? That was right during pit stops as well. Oh boy.
This is going to be interesting to see. I think this is going to work out in favor for the 21 and the 66 because they've already made their stops. But I'm not entirely sure if they're lapped down or not. But yeah, Colin, Friesen, a couple of these guys are definitely going to come down the pit road. We'll just have to see how this all plays out. I didn't see any smoke anywhere, so I'm not entirely sure what triggered the caution, but regardless, the caution is out here at the Phoenix International Raceway.
A fairly weird situation, but it looks like everyone else that did not pit right when the caution happened, they are going to go ahead and pit, and that's unfortunate because pit stops were happening right when the caution came out, and now that's gonna potentially shake up the field and put some guys trapped the lap down, unfortunately. But it's gonna be fairly interesting to see a pivotal be the race leader. It might end up being the 21 again.
Francois, if I'm not mistaken, Francois Chastain. He'll be in the lead along with second place will be the 13 of Azuman Hamid. A couple of rookie drivers, Ben Dover, Alexander Rowe, then Bradley Ream, I think. 22 if he's not a lap down.
Yeah, looks like that will be the case.
Actually, no. Francois Chastain, according to the leaderboard, he's a lap down.
Oh wow, yeah, he... So,
we'll just have to wait and see how this all shakes out.
Yeah, this is gonna be very interesting. Let's see. He will get his lap back. So, that's gonna be important. It might... I don't know. I honestly have zero clue who's gonna be the race leader, but let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the 4th caution of the day here in the Castrol GTX 500. Here we go, this is what happened. It took us a minute to find out what happened, but we found it. Massenthal, actually no, Patrick Smith came down on Massenthal, thought that Tall was going to give him more room than what she gave him, and just shot up the racetrack into that outside wall. Not a good day for Patrick Smith. One of his best racetracks, in fact his best racetrack in the Rebel Cup Series, and not having a good day whatsoever. And unfortunately, that's going to cycle up everything. And I don't know who the race leader is going to be, but unfortunate break for Patrick Smith in the number 10.
So we're here in full time coming along the lap car of Madison Tall and Patrick Smith. Tall might have moved up the racetrack, so that's a couple of accidents that Madison Tall has been the key factor in. But like you said, this is going to change the entire complexity of this race. This happened during pit stops, so this is going to be especially confusing. If I'm not mistaken, the 47 of Stephen Colin should be the leader. But I will just have to wait and see what happens and how they sort everything out on the restart.
Welcome back here at Phoenix, and bad news, only 9 callers have a real shot at the race win unless we get a quick caution. Stephen Collin, Carl Friesen, Brett Sealer, Roger Way, the 95 of Christian Volkus, the 15 of Wyatt Quill, the 52 of Diego Yepes, the 11 of Jake Galloway, and the 43 of Josh Williamson. Back green here at Phoenix, and 10th all the way down to 20th, 21st. They are all on the tail of the lead lap, and we might crash right here, 4 wide. Oh my gosh!
That got dicey real quick as Colin is just gonna shoot out like a rocket from these guys. And man, that got interesting right there. We got 2 and 3 wide up in this pack. Watch this, watch this, watch this. They're gonna make it through.
And they're wrecking it back. Patrick Smith, Bronson Minnick, and Madison Tall yet again.
Goodness, come on, guys.
Well,
this is what the guys that were trapped on the tail end of the lead lap wanted. They're gonna get closer to this, so we're gonna have more than a couple of guys in contention for this. But man, this has just been crazy.
this is one of the more wacky races I've ever seen, and this is by far the wackiest Phoenix race I've ever seen. I'm on the 2003, and we still have 10 laps left.
Yeah, these final 10 laps are definitely going to be very interesting to see who can win this race. I think with the lead lap cars, I think it's still going to be anybody's race. We have William Brock in the way as a pick for Stephen Colin, so my pick so far is still going to be Stephen Colin. But still, it's going to be interesting once we get back to green.
And no one should, keyword should, and no one will pit, so we are gonna be good to go. Let's go ahead and see what happened to bring out the 5th caution the other day here at Phoenix and for the Castrol GTX 500. Here we go, this is what happened 4 wide here at Phoenix, and Patrick Smith got into Bonds Minnick and Massenthal, and then up the track they got stuck to each other and nowhere to go but into the outside wall. A big hit off the ground a little bit for Massenthal, and then Diego Yepes nowhere to go, and Josh Williamson is able to stop just in time. A full car incident, actually, yeah, a full car incident, and then Massenthal hit Boston Minute once again. Just a crazy race. 3 total race cars, and Patrick Smith 4 wide, decided to yeet it in 3 and 4, and caused the 5th caution of the day.
So at full speed, just 4 wide going off the corner. We saw this in Season 1 of the Red Bull Cup Series here. And just unfortunate for a lot of these guys, but good thing for Josh Williamson that he avoided this, because he's still in contention to win this race. He's going to restart 8th or 9th, if I'm not mistaken. But, man, and this does throw a wrench into the complexity of this race, because we're going to have those guys that were trapped on the tail end of the lead lap. They're going to be back. Oh, no! Carter Friesen. He's had one too many Canadian beers before this race, and he accidentally rear-ended the 47, so we did not see that. So that's very unfortunate for the 47. Could affect his aerodynamics in the rear end, but we'll just have to wait and see.
And that was actually Shane Winslow, his teammate. So team trouble for JTG Dooley Racing. That might have just caused Stephen Collins to maybe have too much damage and lose this race win. We just have to wait and see. Let's go ahead and get to the restart here at Phoenix.
Why did I think that was Carter Friesen again? Probably because he was in a 37 in the one of his leagues back then. Oh my god. Great. No, I flat out roasted Carter and for absolutely no reason. He's gonna win the race now. Alright, let's get this crap over with.
19 cars on the lead lap. So that's...
Most of them have damage.
Oh boy. Welcome back here at Phoenix. We will go back green with just 8 laps to go in the Castrol GTX 500. Stephen Collins will be the race leader, and then Carter Friesen in second, Rajway in third, Christian Volkus in fourth, and Brett Sealer in fifth. We do have 19 cars on the lead lap now, thanks to that caution being out, but it's going to be really interesting to see how these lap cars will affect the race leaders. Stephen Collins leads back to green, 8 laps to go at Phoenix.
And Colin, he's going to try and use the 88 as a pick, but just as I said, that Carter Friesen, who's in the 20 car, not the 37, who has not been drinking Canadian beer in this race. My apologies in that realm, but he's going to try and jump upon that 47, who has some rear end damage thanks to his teammate. So it's going to, I think it's going to come down between these two, but don't look now. Here comes Roger Ray in the 19. He's been quiet all day, along with the 9 and a couple other guys.
And how about Jake Galloway? He had, early on, he had some right side damage. He still has some right side damage, but the most consistent driver so far this season in the Red Bull Cup Series is once again back inside the top 10.
Consistency is key, and the 47, he is slower than usual, and that's what Friesen wants. Meanwhile, the 9 is going to the inside of Ray. That's the battle for third. And like you said, Jake Galloway, the points leader, like you said, the most consistent driver, he's just going to add to his points total. And how about that 15 car of Wyatt Quayle? He's up in the shindig, and he has a chance to get a good run.
We haven't really seen him all race long until 15 or 20 laps to go, and he's come out of nowhere. And speaking of out of nowhere, Carter Friesen to the inside of Stephen Collins for the race lead. The 5 laps to go.
I think Carter Friesen, if he just plays his cars right, he's going to walk up the racetrack just a little bit, nearly makes contact with the 47. Well, like I said, the 47, he has just a little bit of rear end damage that could be affecting his aerodynamics just a little bit. And I think coming off of turns 3 and 4, Carter Friesen is going to clear the 47.
Well, maybe not. Stephen Collins gets a massive one on the outside lane, and still side by side for the race lead.
I get another run here. No, he's not. Carter Friesen, new race leader. And the more these guys battle, the 19 of Roger Ray and the 9 of Brett Sierra. Sierra's already got a win this year, so he's going to try and see if he can make it 2 for the season. But Colin's going to try and get that lead back. Might get into the rear bumper of the 20 car. We have 4 laps to go. 3 to go.
Stephen Collins is not out of it. The top 3, top 4, and heck, Quail might have it launched out if these guys get too crazy. Stephen Collins to the inside, 2.5 laps to go.
Roger Ray and Brett Sierra, they're just waiting for these guys to make a mistake and screw each other out of a win. Meanwhile, Roger Ray, he goes wide. Here comes Brett Sierra to the inside. Top 4 cars put him underneath the blanket. 2 to go at Phoenix.
It is going to be a shootout to the finish, maybe even 3 wide. Roger Ray to the inside, almost 3 wide for the race lead. Roger Ray, the defending champion, has decided to say screw it, he's going to go for the race lead now. But can he get there? Joe gets racing 1-2. Oh, Roger Ray to the inside with a massive run. White flag, final lap at Phoenix.
Roger Ray, my pick to win this race. He has the best shot of all these guys. On to the inside. Can he try and get the bumper to the 19? Carter Friesen's on the outside. They're going to make a little bit of contact there coming off of turns 1 and 2.
Don't count Stephen Collins though, yeah. He might have one last shot at it going into turn 3 and 4.
Gonna be close. Get out your cameras, ladies and gentlemen. I think Roger Ray's gonna have the run on the outside. Is that a
he
teammate?
will. Roger Ray, the defending champion of the Red Bull Cup Series. He won the Power Clash at Daytona, and now he wins the Castrol GTX 500 and locks himself into the Season 3 Red Bull Cup Series playoffs. And you know what? Last season, the defending champion at the time, Patrick Smith, in the number 10, he won this exact same race. And now the Season 2 champion wins the Season 3 race for the Castrol GTX 500. What a race.
Oh, race is just an understatement. This is definitely a race of attrition, and Roger Ray quiet all day, and when the chips are down, he comes up and clears house with all those guys. But man, Stephen Colin, oh so close. Carter Friesen rounds out the podium positions. Brett Sierra, Wyatt Quayle rounds out your top 5. Oh my goodness.
What a race, and how about that, for the first time this season, for a points race, a veteran gets the job done. Roger Ray gets the race win. Oh man,
Definitely one of the wildest races that I've ever seen. And this is only the 3rd race of the season, so we could definitely see a wild race later in the season. If I'm not mistaken, we do go back here later in the season. Phoenix.
Yeah, we come back here race 27, if I remember right, to decide the final 4. So if this is how race 1 of 2 for Phoenix this season, if this race is anything like of how the second Phoenix race is, then we are in for one heck of a treat. But what a race. Roger Ray gets the job done. Stephen Collins 2nd, Friesen 3rd, Sierra 4th, fresh off that race victory at Atlanta. And Wyatt Quayle, he was another guy that was really quiet all day. Comes out of nowhere in 5th. Yepes, where did Diego Yepes come from? He gets 6th, then Jake Galloway, point leader, right side damage, beaten up, call it and all, and Jake Galloway comes home in 7th, Josh Williamson in 8th, Focus in 9th, and the Daytona 500 winner Mitchell Collins comes home in 10th. 19 cars finish on the lead lap. Smith, Watson, Allen, Hamid, Minnick, all 1 lap down. Brock, Overa, Deletto 2 laps down, and Tolo only called 3 laps down. 28 cars finish on the lead lap. Well, 28 cars finished the race. And then 29th all the way down to 42nd, all finished in the garage here in this wild race here at Phoenix for the Castrol GTX 500. what are the final thoughts in this race here at Phoenix Raceway?
I think definitely in the early going, these drivers were way too anxious, way too wild with their cars. Especially when we come here to Phoenix in the fall, these guys, since I don't blame them because the majority of these guys are rookies in the field, but now they know just to lay off on the sauce early in the going, and to when they come back here in the fall, I think we're going to see a much calmer race. Even though we are going to be deciding the final four there, so who knows what we have in store for the next time we're here at the Phoenix International Raceway. But for this race, definitely wild was an understatement. But Roger Ray, he survived all the carnage and all of that, and he's on top here in the Red Bull Cup Series for this race.
And Roger Ray, the defending champ, he now has a 1 in 16 shot as long as he's in the top 30 in points after race number 18. He will have a shot at the championship. Thank you guys so much for watching. What a wild race. Short track tempers, short track being a bane, and short track chaos. And Roger Ray gets the job done. Huge thanks to Troy White for joining me up in the booth for the first time this season. Hopefully we can do it a handful more of times. That's one heck of a race. And coming up next, no problem. And coming up next is the points, the burnouts, and everything else in between after race 3 of the season. And we actually have 2 race weekends and 1 week later on this weekend, Friday and Saturday. And actually starting Thursday is a big week. And at our club Speedway for race 4 of the season for the Red Bull Cup Series, that's going to be a good one this weekend to continue on. The NIOA goes west in the West Coast Ring. Thank you guys so much for watching. Congratulations to Roger Ray on getting the race win. And I will see you guys next time in California. Bye.
See y'all.
And I'm wasting away, and I'm fading away. You've taken everything that I want, till there's nothing left in me, and there's no room left to breathe. You're changing everything that I need, 'cause there's nowhere left to hide, when there's nothing to believe. I'm wasting away, till there's nothing left in me, and there's no room left to breathe. I'm fading away, 'cause there's nowhere left to hide, when there's nothing to believe. Would you leave me here behind? Would you love to watch me cry? Would you like to fly away? I could show you the truth if you'd only let me lose. If you told me what you need.